I mean, they weren't assholes. They were nice men, but they were hardcore. He wasn't easy, period.
You ever notice how some Hollywood legends keep everything cool on the surface, but underneath there's this quiet storm waiting to break loose? Well, that's the energy Sam Elliott's been carrying for years. Folks always saw the mustache, the silver hair, the cowboy walk, but nobody realized he was packing decades of frustration behind that calm stare. Sam built a career off real grit. No shortcuts, no pretending, no pretty cowboy acting. And now that he's hit 80, he isn't pulling back anymore. He's finally letting people know exactly who rubbed him wrong in the industry, and trust me, the names shocked even me. Let's start with the one actor who pushed Sam so far he literally stepped off set and never looked back. Kevin Costner. Yeah, that Kevin Costner. See, Sam wasn't just acting like a cowboy. He lived that life. Ranch dirt under the nails, sunrise work, real Western discipline. When he talked, you could practically hear old leather and dusty roads in his voice. Everything he did on screen came from experience, not imagination. So, when Sam watched Kevin Costner take on roles like a cowboy in Wyatt Earp and later the big man of Yellowstone, he wasn't impressed at all. To Sam, Kevin looked like Hollywood's cleaned-up version of the West. Shiny boots, smooth lines, lighting perfect enough for a perfume commercial. Sam once joked to someone close that Costner played a rancher like a little costume game, like he was stepping into a character he didn't fully understand. And while everyone else was out here praising Yellowstone for the drama, the scenery, the tough high-stakes ranch life, Sam wasn't buying any of it. He felt the show was more like a postcard pretending to be the West, made for people who've never even walked through mud, let alone fixed a fence before sunrise. There was even talk that Sam got offered a small part in Yellowstone and turned it down immediately. He called the whole thing a soap story wearing a cowboy hat, and that comment alone tells you exactly how he felt. For Sam, Western stories carried a code: quiet strength, real work, real pain. And he felt Kevin brought shine and glamour without the soul. People who saw Sam and Kevin in the same room said the air felt ice cold, even when nobody said a word. No yelling, no drama, just two men standing far apart in every possible way. And that wasn't even the wildest name tied to Sam's frustration, because then came Benedict Cumberbatch, the man he felt was way too British to play certain Western roles. And that moment, it sent shockwaves through Hollywood. When Sam decided to speak on the power of the dog, he didn't dress it up or soften a single line. He came swinging with raw honesty that cut through the room like a busted door in a silent bar. There was no gentle lead-in, no polite industry talk, just straight heat. And what shook everyone was that Sam didn't aim at the story or the pacing first. He aimed straight at Benedict Cumberbatch himself. Sam wasn't vibing with Benedict's version of a Western rancher, not even a little bit. He threw shade at the accent, the stiff body language, and what he felt was this overly polished, uptight style that didn't match the world he knew so well. During one interview, Sam even cracked a line that sounded like something he'd been holding on to for years, saying he couldn't wrap his head around how someone from overseas was supposed to capture the soul of the American West. That message landed loud and sharp. The reaction? Pure chaos. Fans of Benedict and people who loved the film's modern spin on rugged men jumped online fast, calling Sam outdated and stuck in the old chapter of Western storytelling. I saw folks online saying Sam was too protective, too old school, and wasn't ready to let new voices experiment with the genre. It was like a wildfire of opinions. But Sam didn't budge, not even an inch. No apology post, no let me rephrase, none of that. He held his ground like someone who'd lived through every version of the West Hollywood ever tried to recreate. In Sam's eyes, the power of the dog didn't feel like an evolution. It felt like a misunderstanding of everything the genre represented. He believed it twisted old-school toughness into something dramatic and theatrical instead of something earned and lived. Insiders whispered that Benedict Cumberbatch definitely felt the sting from those comments, even though he chose not to clap back. People behind the scenes, studio heads, PR teams, were apparently debating whether they should respond or keep it quiet. In the end, Benedict stayed silent, maybe because he didn't want to turn it into a public showdown. Meanwhile, Sam stood on his stance like a man who'd already fired his shot and wasn't thinking twice about it. To him, the Western world wasn't a costume or some pretty camera angle. It was a lifestyle shaped by truth, effort, and real grit. And he wasn't about to let anybody reshape that without saying something. And believe me, if that situation shook folks, the next name Sam called out had even more people raising eyebrows. Because next up was Ashton Kutcher, the guy Sam felt played around with the craft a little too lightly for his taste. Sam always treated acting like something sacred, more like a calling than a job. To him, it wasn't about going viral, chasing attention, or flipping the craft into some trendy hobby for people with big platforms. He believed every role needed to come from something real, deep, and lived, not from shortcuts or surface shine. So when Ashton Kutcher blew up off That 70s Show and then stacked his career with lighthearted rom-coms and those high-tech Silicon Valley moves, Sam wasn't clapping for him. It didn't hype him up, it rubbed him the wrong way. From Sam's point of view, it felt like the whole foundation of the craft was being played with. Still, when they both got cast in The Ranch, Sam didn't pull any diva moves. He showed up on time, hit his marks, and let the work speak for itself. But backstage, you could feel something in the air. Crew members whispered that even when Sam and Ashton weren't speaking, the tension sat between them like a heavy door left half open. Sam would let out little comments here and there during quiet moments, just shaking his head like he was watching something slip away. "He's a good dude," he once murmured to someone around him, "but not built like a real actor." It wasn't personal beef. It was Sam reacting to a whole new style of Hollywood that he felt didn't honor the craft. To Sam, Ashton represented a new era where image beat experience, where online numbers mattered more than building layers into a character. The kind of Hollywood where charm and memes replaced discipline and truth. Sam didn't think that was growth. He saw it as the craft slowly losing its backbone. Fans loved the chemistry on screen, but Sam knew that Bond wasn't real. It was just the job. Ashton stayed respectful in public, calling Sam a legend and acting like he got guidance from him. But behind closed doors, Sam wasn't returning the praise. He acts like he learned this off a quick video clip he supposedly told a friend one day with a sigh. That wasn't Sam being petty. It was Sam protecting the values he'd lived by for decades. He believed acting needed presence, stillness, honesty. Watching the industry slide towards spectacle and hype made him feel like the heart of storytelling was fading away. And even after all that, the situation only got deeper. Because the next name on Sam's list was the one people never expected: Nicolas Cage. To Sam, Cage was too loud, too wild, too over the top for the soul of the craft he held dear. Sam believed real power came from subtle moves. The quiet lift of an eyebrow, a long pause loaded with truth, a line delivered soft enough to hit harder than a shout. To him, restraint was everything, and Cage's explosive style was the exact opposite. When Nicolas Cage burst into the spotlight with those wild, high-energy performances, swinging his arms, popping his eyes, jumping into scenes like a human firecracker, Sam didn't view it as genius at all. To him, it looked like chaos running loose on a movie set. Sam felt Cage wasn't stepping into a character. He was putting on a full show, taking every scene hostage with noise and movement instead of depth. Even when they worked together on Ghost Rider, Sam kept things strictly professional. He wasn't rude, but he wasn't warm either, just the kind of polite distance a man keeps when he doesn't vibe with the energy in the room. In later years, Sam kept his critiques vague in interviews, never calling anyone out by name. But the tone was sharp enough that the people around him knew exactly who he was pointing at. He would talk about actors who took over a scene like they owned the building, actors who turned emotional moments into loud performances just to steal the spotlight. And his friends recognized the target immediately: Nicolas Cage. One person close to Sam recalled him saying, "He's more like a firework than a real flame. Big flash, no lasting heat." That line alone explained everything Sam felt. While Cage built a cult following off unpredictability and wild energy, Sam held tight to the old way. Slow burn, quiet power, the kind of acting that pulls the audience closer instead of pushing them back. Sam saw Cage's style as a sign of where modern cinema was drifting, toward shock value over storytelling, noise over meaning. To Sam, it looked like acting was turning into amusement, not art. Even when awards came rolling in for Cage, with critics praising him for being boldly unhinged, Sam didn't buy any of it, not even for a second. In his eyes, no shiny trophy could make up for what felt like performance without soul. Sam believed true acting came from the inside, from stillness, truth, and real human weight. And he didn't see that in Cage's work at all. But the name that cut deepest, the one nobody expected, wasn't someone Sam disliked. It was someone he once trusted, Jeff Bridges. That was the surprise that shook people who knew them. Sam and Jeff Bridges originally felt like reflections of each other, quiet, grounded, full of that steady power you can't fake. They never needed yelling or dramatic speeches to dominate a scene. Their strength lived in the silence, in the looks, in those small, loaded pauses. Together, they helped make The Big Lebowski into a legendary piece of culture, and on screen they fit together perfectly, like two halves of one idea. Off camera, they shared real moments, deep talks, long laughs, and a friendship that looked honest from the outside. They carried the same respect for the craft and understood each other in a way only a few actors ever could. But over time, something changed. Not a big fight, not some dramatic event, just a slow shift, like a rope wearing thin without anyone noticing. And that quiet break in their bond was one of the biggest disappointments Sam ever kept to himself. When Jeff Bridges won his Oscar for Crazy Heart, something shifted that Sam couldn't ignore. The same guy who once carried himself with soft confidence and easygoing charm suddenly started popping up in glossy fashion spreads and walking red carpets wearing bold statements across his chest. People close to Sam said Jeff slowly became harder to reach, more polished, more curated, like a man adjusting himself for the spotlight instead of just living in it. To Sam, it felt like the raw honesty that once defined Jeff had been replaced by a layer of Hollywood shine. The simple values they used to swear by, the idea that the work should speak louder than any hype, seemed to fade under the weight of fame and image-making. When Sam was asked in an interview about past collaborators, he dropped a line that had people raising their eyebrows everywhere. Some folks change, others just show who they always were. That hit like a quiet thunderclap. Many believed he meant Jeff Bridges, and Jeff never addressed it, not a word. In his classic calm way, he stayed silent, but that silence spoke louder than any comeback. After that, the distance became clear. They stopped appearing at the same festivals, stopped publicly supporting each other's projects, and whatever brotherhood they once had drifted off without explanation. For Sam, the hurt wasn't about jealousy or politics. It was deeper than awards or viewpoints. It was about realizing that a bond built on shared values had quietly cracked apart. Insiders said Sam felt left behind, not through betrayal but through change. The slow kind that sneaks up on you until one day you look over, and the person you once walked beside isn't standing there anymore. And that slow burn of disappointment hit Sam harder than he ever admitted. But even that heartbreak didn't compare to the shock of the next name on his list, Jared Leto. That was the one Sam never thought he'd have to address. Sam's biggest frustration in the acting world was pretentious behavior, the kind that turns a role into a circus act built around an actor's ego instead of the character's truth. So when Jared Leto became known for his extreme method choices, sending strange gifts, staying in character non-stop, and turning film sets into emotional obstacle courses, Sam wasn't impressed for even a second. Not when the stories hit the press, not when the awards rolled in, not ever. To Sam, it didn't look like dedication. It looked like a performance inside a performance, something meant to shock instead of serve the story. He once described that kind of behavior as theatrics dressed up as talent, and he meant every word with his whole chest. Behind the scenes, he was even sharper with his opinion, telling a friend, if he needs that much effort to act, maybe he's in the wrong profession. To Sam, that wasn't shade. It was a standard he refused to compromise. To Sam, real acting didn't need wild stories, shock tactics, or headline-chasing stunts. It needed quiet dedication and real presence. He believed the best performances came from slipping into a role without making noise about the process, just doing the work with dignity and focus. No circus vibes, no dramatic behind-the-scenes chaos, just pure craft that hits the audience straight in the heart. Even though Sam and Jared Leto never worked side by side, people behind the scenes say there was one project where their paths almost crossed. Sam loved the script, respected the director, and was close to signing on. But when word came in that Jared Leto had been chosen for a major role, Sam didn't argue, didn't negotiate, didn't send a message. He simply walked away quietly, but firmly. That's how serious that line was for him. To Sam, acting was never supposed to turn into a carnival show just to get attention. It was supposed to stay human, grounded, and honest. He believed the purpose of the craft was to move people, not shock them into talking. And when he looked at how far the industry sometimes drifted from that foundation, it reminded him why he held on to his beliefs so tightly. That last name on his list proved just how deeply he felt the art had slipped away from its roots. At 80, Sam Elliott isn't out here chasing spotlight moments. He's chasing truth. And part of that truth is understanding that not every actor, no matter how big the hype, deserves to be put on a pedestal. For Sam, the craft lives in honesty, in tradition, in restraint, and he's willing to stand alone if that's what it takes to protect it. In a world full of loud moments and noisy fame, Sam Elliott still walks like the last real cowboy out here. Steady, calm, and unbothered by the trends around him. But now it's your turn. Which one of these tensions shocked you the most? And do you think Sam was being too tough or just keeping it real? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, share the video, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And when this ends, make sure you check out the next video on your screen for more celebrity drama you won't believe.